Hi guys, let's talk about the head twist takedown. So the head twist takedown is pretty cool. But first let me sneak in here and talk about function versus dysfunction. Okay, so do you know the difference between function and dysfunction? Function reminds me of this song back in the 70s and 80s on like Scholastic television or something.
Schoolhouse Rock.
That's Schoolhouse Rock, that's it, that's what I was looking for. So function versus dysfunction, which has absolutely nothing to do with Schoolhouse Rock, but it really brought it to mind. Okay, so dysfunction is, think of it like this, a joint only goes one way, like on the elbow, right? It's the hinge joint. So if I put pressure against it and apply an opposing pressure as well, that's called dysfunction. So I'm causing it to not work in its normal way, and the body naturally responds to that either through pain compliance, or you can move an object and so forth and so on. So dysfunction is really important. Hyperfunction, right? Like somebody who's taken a line of some kind of drug and they're bouncing all over the damn place. Hyperfunction, above, right, the word hyper, above normal function, allows you to change the dynamics of a fight rather dramatically because the body doesn't respond to it the same way that it does with normal dysfunction type attack, okay? A hyperfunction attack, the body gets confused and isn't sure what to do. So that has relevance. You'll see this in other videos. I'll talk about it again, and it will be completely relevant to the head twist takedown. So the head twist takedown, normal dysfunction. If I spin the neck either direction, right? That's dysfunction. It's only going to go so far. He's not an owl and has the ability to almost completely turn his head around. If he did, first of all, I'd be making a lot more money. I'd be exploiting him, and I wouldn't be doing martial arts videos. He'd be in the circus. Well, he's redheaded, so technically he could be in the circus anyways.
Either way.
Now, this right here is the typical movement that you'd use for a head twist takedown. And it's used in defensive tactics, it's used in a general fight, but a lot of law enforcement use it because it's very relevant to be able to get somebody into a position where you can take control of them if they're starting to fight with you in this proximity. So, hand goes on the chin, back of the hand goes on the back of the head, and you grab around the occipital lobe. You either grab the skull itself or you grab the hair, and you're looking to do this movement, and where the head goes, the body follows, right? That's just the way it works. Where the head goes, the body follows. And you're not going to break a neck. It's not like in the movies where you, and the person just dies. You know, it actually takes an enormous amount of pressure, and you'd have to put the body in a frame, right? So they couldn't move, and then you'd have to put them in a cage. You'd have to have a torque wrench, and you'd have to like move this along until you created enough torque and pressure to actually snap the cervical spine. So in this case, really what happens is the body just follows it unless he's able to resist me, right? And again, that's called dysfunction. So a normal one looks like this. Boom, you take him down, you can get into some kind of manipulation. You can maybe do an arm bar, or you can do a choke or whatever. Okay, I'll back up. Now, if you do hyperfunction, it isn't just this movement, all right? It's a movement like this. So I create sort of a dynamic sphere of movement that looks like sort of like a question mark, okay? Some people say an S, they create an S movement. This is normal dysfunction. This is hyper dysfunction. You can see how, how the body just sort of spins, okay? Because it confuses the brain and the body can't respond with normal equilibrium. So I want you to think about hyperfunction and dysfunction from a biomechanics standpoint, or maybe a kinesiology or something of that nature. Go study, because it is online. You can find things about hyperfunction versus dysfunction. But again, the normal head twist takedown with your partner, this is just roughly how it works. I grab, I take down, I move them into a seated position, and I might go into a carotid restraint or something like that, or I might move them and flip them over onto their back, okay? Look at it from the other way. Give you a little bit of distance here on the camera. I grab, I twist, I move the body. At this point, he's done a sit out. I can then get into a carotid restraint if I want. I can put my hooks in, or I can take him and flip him over onto his face, and we can start worrying about handcuffing techniques and that kind of thing. So that is a basic head twist takedown. What I want you to do when you practice this with your friends in the dojo or in the garage or wherever it is that you're training, all I want you to do is just practice it gently and have them sit down. Okay? Once you've done that, look at the other videos we talk about the head twist takedown in, and learn how to do the follow-ups such as handcuffing and other defensive tactics that'll be relevant.